Hi there, my name's Mia Freedman. Like so many, I'm working from home at the moment as we are all in self-isolation. And I wanted to bring you a very timely, special episode of No Filter with someone who is just absolutely human sunshine. And I think if I was asked who my dream guest or my ideal guest would be for this show, for the last few years, I probably would have said, this person. Tell me if you recognize her and that magazine cover. Sara-Marie was probably the original reality star, and she was also the original body positivity person, really. She was patient zero for both of those things. She was in that first season of Big Brother in 2001, I think it was. And she was just like this breath of fresh air that burst through our lives and our TV screens. And with her bum dance and her pajamas and her exuberance and her, not just her body positivity, but just her self-confidence. I nearly lost my job for putting her on the cover of Cosmo when I was the editor because my bosses did not think she was appropriate. But I think it ended up being a bestseller because the whole world was in love with Sara-Marie. So I was super keen to find out what she had been up to in the almost 20 years since that season of Big Brother. And so when I was in Perth a couple of weeks ago, before we went into social isolation, when we could still hug, and we did, I caught up with Sara-Marie, and you're really going to enjoy this conversation.
How the bloody hell are you, Sara-Marie?
I haven't been like in hibernation. It's just like I never cared to be known in the way that I did what I did, and then I was happy to go and come back when, like you, like get to spend time with Mia. But I didn't have to do things to prove myself that I needed to be liked. So I was so content, but it was funny that once I was liked for me, then you're in the media and they then started saying, this is all she is now. What is she doing now? And I was laughing to myself, you liked me for me, but now I feel like I have to prove myself. So at times I just walked away because I thought, I don't need to prove who I am. I was 21. I was still finding myself, but thank goodness I left in a positive light so much most of the time on Big Brother. But yeah, I just didn't have to prove, I just didn't feel like I needed to keep proving myself.
What was your life like before you went into the house? Because it was before Google, so it's not even like
there's
at
nothing
the time. It's like we couldn't stalk your social. You could really come in as with a clean slate.
I know. Me and my sisters always say that. We go, thank God there was nothing like that before I went into Big Brother. I did have a lot of fun, and that's the thing. And I think I did, as you all know, worked in a strip club. So I appreciate that time of my life as well, because that's where I feel I accepted everyone's body and who they were for who they were. Because I was surrounded by naked women all the time, and the people have perceptions of strip clubs and things like that, but it's not what some people judge it as. So it was girls accepting the way they are, and I saw them naked, so that's one body shape, that's another body shape, and it almost made me feel comfortable then to go into the house and go, well, everyone's different.
How did you come to work in a strip club?
I was actually working in a pharmacy, and I never knew what I wanted to do. And I went there for a Christmas party one night, and I ended up helping the person that managed it hand out awards or something, like, best stripper of the year or something. And they offered me a job at the front desk at night time. So I took that on, and then I ended up managing the girls for like organising buck shows and all their dances for the evening, and employing the girls as well.
And you were just like, what, 20 years old?
Yeah, 21. Yeah. I did it. And I loved, it wasn't necessarily because I was working in a strip club. I loved people, and I was intrigued by how it all worked. And it wasn't a dangerous environment for me to work in. And some people, when 18-year-old boys, like groups of boys would come in, I'd say to them, what are you doing here? I'd be intrigued to ask them why. And they felt that they weren't good enough, good looking enough for a pretty girl to talk to them. So they'd come to a strip club to pay for what they thought was pretty to talk to them. And there'd be people that had no one that would like someone to talk to them, so they'd pay someone just to sit and talk to them they thought was pretty. Yeah. And there'd be groups of girls that would come because they're intrigued by getting confidence to watch a girl dance. It wasn't as what some people say it was.
Did you, I mean, comparison is something that as women we do all the time. Mm-hmm. Did you compare yourself and your body to these girls who were the strippers?
Not really. I used to look at some of them and say, oh, her bum's nice, her boobs are nice, or look how she shaved herself down there. Oh, that's a good idea. But I was intrigued if they had their periods. I would think to myself, what would they do? And they'd cut the tampon string and still dance. Am I allowed to say stuff like this?
Yeah.
It was really interesting for me. Yeah. So it was just all interesting, and it was so natural for everyone to talk about.
Yeah.
So, and I also have 4 sisters, and you've met one of them today, and we've all got completely different body shapes, and we've always all been so comfortable around each other. So there's never been issue for us.
How did your parents do that? Because
I don't know.
That's really unusual.
There's 4 girls, and we all ate the same, we all did the same things, and we all have different body shapes, yet we're all so accepting of each other. Yeah.
And yourselves.
Yeah, we are. Do you know what I did? I was going to do, but I was going to I'll tell you later. That's all right.
No, tell me now.
I was going to bring a pair of bathers and take my clothes off today and stand there with you. And now I've got my granny undies on because then I chick it out.
I've got my granny undies on too.
And the shittest bras. But I actually got a nice pair of bathers to put on. We'll save that for another day.
I want to, how did Big Brother come about? You were working in the strip club.
Yeah, so then I was driving home one time and I thought, I need to do something else. I just felt like it was just time to do something different. And when I came home early in the morning, there was an ad on TV, would you like to live in a house with how many people? And I said to myself, well, I've done a Kentucky tour by myself, so this would be fun. So not in my head, it wasn't to be known, because none of that mattered then, because you didn't know what Big Brother was. So I rang a number, they sent me forms, and I had to fill out the forms, and then you got to send a video in. And I think it was Peter Abbott said that was the Big Brother, Big Brother.
Yeah, they're the executive producer.
Yeah, he said my video was the most boring video, because all I said on it was I had the girls that were working at the strip club that night were standing around me, and I said, if I can handle 25 strippers, I'm sure I can handle the Big Brother house. And then I said, if you want to know more about me, give me the next interview. And that's what I said.
That was so clever.
That's
what he said that was boring.
Yeah, the shortest, most people
Right.
have to explain themselves that they're this and they're this. And I was like, well, this is who I am. If you want to know more, come get me.
And he was obviously intrigued.
Yeah, but he even said when we got to take things into the house, you're allowed to take certain things into so you weren't bored. And I only took my tweezers. He goes, what have you taken in? And because me and my sisters always had tweezers when we lived together on top of the toilet seat. Oh, they're going to kill me. So we always just sit there and pluck our bikini line.
That's entertaining. It's something to do.
Yeah, so I took tweezers in to pluck my bikini line. See, now I don't care saying it now, so long ago.
What happened in that first interview that you did with him?
My expectation. So I actually wasn't even going to go when they told me I was up for the auditions. I came home from work and I was really, really tired, and I made myself have a shower. And then I remember being in the shower going, I'm not going to go to this thing. I just can't be bothered. And then I had to go to work again the following night. And then something made me get in the car to be at the this audition on time, and I parked at the front of the place in a no stopping zone, so you can get a ticket. I didn't get a ticket, and I just didn't care, and I just walked in. I said, all right, I'll quickly go in, and I'm always early, and this time I was late, and I walked in and everyone was sitting down. I went, oh, hi, sorry. And I just remember I always have manners, but not caring in, this is me, where do you want me to go? I don't really have time. And then that's how it started. And then when we got cut down to the final few that were staying back, they said that, we had to go a few people before this other person. I said, I don't have time for this. I'm going to go before you, and then I have to go. So then I organised it, and I walked in and did that. And I feel sometimes that's what made them maybe think, well, that's what they needed, someone to speak up.
Someone who was assertive and confident.
But I wasn't, as I said, I wasn't rude, I don't think. I just needed things done, and I didn't care of how far it went, because it was just fun, and it was just at the time an idea. I didn't have an idea of how big it was going to be.
Well, it's hard to explain to people who are, younger than about 30 of what this was the first reality TV show, the first season of the first reality TV show.
Yeah, I'm so lucky because I'm a sucker for reality shows. I love them.
Do you?
I love them. I love my thing I love watching him is how everyone interacts. But it does surprise me how then they come off the shows and then cry that their life is over, or they don't like the way they've been portrayed. And how many years of reality shows now you should learn your lesson?
But and I want to get to that. But you didn't. You in that first
crew that went in there.
We had no idea.
You had no idea.
No. And you can tell we had no idea because if you look back of what we wore in there to what people wear now, I had the same bras on for nearly 3 months. Like we just wore the same pajamas. You just didn't wear shoes. And then I remember coming out when we had to do robe, the stylist at the time didn't have clothes to suit my figure. So I had to wear the same skirt that I wore for 3 months in Big Brother on robe that night. And no one even noticed, but I did. Do you know what I mean? Because those type of social media things weren't out to attack or pick you.
Yeah.
So no one even realised that I'd been wearing that skirt the whole time, probably washed it twice, and now I'm wearing it on robe. No one would ever do that now. Could you imagine?
I went up to the Big Brother
goodness.
house. I was there on that night that you came out. I was in the audience. And I was because I was a massive fan of the show. I used to watch it with my son who was about 4 at the time.
Yeah.
And apart from the Dancing Doona, which was Christina Ballerina and Pete Timms who hooked up and there was this, the Dancing Doona. That's as rude as it got. It was otherwise it was very innocent, but it was fascinating just watching people interact and have boring conversations.
And I think sometimes the things that we were talking about, people weren't really talking about as yet, the things we would say. And so they're just everyday things, but people had started talking about them.
And it felt like a little bit like having flatmates because I was a single mum at the time and I was kind of lonely, and it was like I would just watch you all every night and get really attached and really invested. So then when I went up to I watched you in the house a little bit because you could go through sort of behind the scenes. And then I was out with the crowd. And the thing that struck me as the editor of Cosmo at the time, there were thousands and thousands of young women wearing your pajamas like yours with little crop tops and bunny ears, doing the bum dance and smacking their bums and just looking so confident. And it was at the time of heroin chic. It was the 90s when it was all about, or the early 2000s when it was all about Kate Moss and girls looking incredibly skinny, and it was grunge. Yeah. And you were just a complete breath of fresh air and had such an influence.
I think that's what was hard for me though, being 21 at the time. I didn't know who I was either, so I was just being me. So then to come out and some people would say to me, what's it like to be fat and happy, or how are you big and happy? But I didn't, and now me and my sisters only watched it a few months ago because I actually haven't watched a whole series of myself.
Yeah.
And we were showing our nieces and nephews and my daughter like a YouTube thing of me coming out because we were all dancing to it one night just to show the kids, and they were more excited they saw my mum and dad on stage than me. They didn't care. But yeah, it's
coming out and seeing thousands of women dressed like you.
Yeah, it was just
weird
like? Because, as I said, I can't explain myself of why I was liked. It just doesn't. I still don't understand that, because for me, I was just being me and I felt comfortable, and that was the answer. And that's what I was saying about getting back to seeing on the YouTube, is that I was like, I wasn't even big. Like, you know what I mean? I'm my biggest size I am now. Like the size I am now is my heaviest weight I've ever been. But I still feel good. Do you know what I mean? That's so weird. And I was saying to my sisters, once a year I always go and get a blood test. All my bloods are perfect, my cholesterol, everything's so healthy. But I have friends that like do boot camp and they train and they eat so well, yet they have other internal, like, when you do blood tests. So what is healthy? Feeling good, having, there's so many, and you come in, I wouldn't say any more plus size, different sizes, because everyone's a different shape. And just because someone's a size 8 or 10 doesn't mean they don't have their days, and you shouldn't say, oh, you should feel happy because you're 8 or 10. Like, everyone emotionally has to feel good to look good. If that, you got to ooze it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Of course.
Yeah.
What did you think was going to happen when you came out, like in your head?
I remember we had suitcases with Big Brother stickers on them, and I remember packing my bag. So I was voted, I think, every week. I had to pack. I was nominated every week, and I remember when I packed it, going, I wonder if people would notice this suitcase with Big Brother on it when I take it on the plane. Like, that's how much I had no idea. Like, I
guess none of you did know what a big thing.
Had no idea. And then when I came on stage, the psychologist, Carmel, she had to take me in a room and explain to me what was going on, and I still didn't believe them. And then the next day I went to go to the
What
shops.
did she say to you?
She said, try to explain to me how well known I was. And I was just too excited to see my family and friends. But I couldn't grasp what anyone was meaning. And then the next day I went to go to the shops with my mum, and they were trying to say you can't. And I put my foot down. I was a little bit shitty, and I said, no, I really want to go. And at the time there was this like hundreds of people lined down the streets, like I couldn't do anything. And it was really hard for me to grasp as well, because I was loved for being confident, but then I had to learn a new confidence. I had to stand on stage and talk in front of thousands and hundreds of people. I had to have a confidence where I'm a confident person in my own circle, but that doesn't mean I'm real good to get up on stage and tell everyone I love myself. I had to learn that as well, which people don't realise. I just, like, sometimes I felt like a performing seal when I did a book tour. I'd have to stand on stage and slap my ass. And, you know, so there was a thing where I felt like I became a character at time, because I remember staying in a hotel one morning and I was just really tired, I think energetically drained. And the lady goes, "Are you Sara-Marie?" And I said, "Yes, I am." And she goes, "You don't look very, like, vibrant." I said to her, "It's 5 o'clock in the morning. Like, come on." I can't be like, "How you going?" all the time. And that's not healthy or normal to say that I am or was, because that's not okay either, because no one is, you know. So I felt like sometimes I had to live up to being someone. And then I joined the Harry Miller group, and I remember
to be managed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I
Harry's
knew
wisest
Harry was
words to
amazing.
me was, just because you have fame, you won't always have fortune. So in my head, I say, okay, I don't know when these they did pay well, but then you might not work for a couple of months. And
What paid well when you came out?
I didn't do any nightclub appearances or anything for a year or so like other people did, but like I had a pajama label out, a book out, and a CD out. And I think this is not bragging, this is now something I'm proud to show my daughter. I think out of anyone in Australia, I'm the only person to be known for 3 months to be able to achieve that in a short amount of time. And that's where I'm now proud to tell my daughter when she grows up of how it become like that, rather than, you know, people work their whole lives to have one book out, or work their whole lives to have one song, or wish to be known, or to have
Did
a
you
label.
record a song?
Yeah, I had Sara-Marie Bum Dance album. It was in top 10 on Video Hits.
Shut up. I don't remember
It was a video
that.
clip. Yeah.
Of you doing the bum dance?
In my pajamas. Yeah, you can look it up on YouTube. It's still there. But now these things, they're cringeworthy, but then people can say, oh, one-hit wonders like people did. I don't care, because now I'm a proud mum to show my daughter that this is all because of just being yourself.
Yeah.
You know? So, and that's for me not to brag, but now to show that no one else has achieved that. And I don't need to I felt like sometimes now you have to prove yourself to be liked. And I think that would be very hard work. So I'm getting back to Harry saying, just because you have fame, you won't always have fortune. So only a year after Big Brother, I'm still doing things. I went and got a job at Sports Girl, and I was still doing work. And then the newspapers put a big picture of me in the newspaper, "This is all I am." And I was so confused, because it didn't bother me. I never thought twice about working in there. It didn't bother me. And for them to say, "This is all I am," and I was like, what do you mean?
Do you mean they kind of said,
Look at her now.
Oh, like
she's
the
been famous.
downfall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was so confused, because I didn't feel like I was a downfall. I felt like I was just had an experience on a TV show. Good things came out of it, but I'm not the one to care, to hope and wish that I'm still known. So that confused me. And then when I did Dancing with the Stars, I'd fly home that night or the next day, and I'd go and work at a childcare centre. So I was still doing things that I loved, but people were confused, like trying to say, look at her now, where is she now? All she does is this or that. And I was like, these pay some families bills to put food on the table. Like, some people, that's all they have as a job. So how can you make people feel like that and say that's all I am? We're all still human. And I did good. You know, I felt I did good in a positive light. But, so those things were, although most of my experience was positive, I had to learn a lot myself how to be confident in other ways and stand up for myself and explain myself, if that makes sense.
All of it makes sense. Harry was really wise, because a lot of people get fame and money confused, and they think that anyone who's famous is also rich.
Yeah, it was the best advice from him. Bless him.
And then you still had bills to pay, and fame doesn't pay bills.
No, and I don't understand anyone that wants to be known just so more people know your name, because anyone that has been known understand it's a lot of work. And that's where
What's the work that people don't realise?
Answering to others, explaining yourself, living up to something that a lot of people feel like they have to. And that's what I was, mentioned to you before. I've never in my life had Facebook or Instagram. And even after I got...
I know, because I've tried to stalk you many times.
I've stalked you off my
I'm not the
sister's
only
Instagram.
one.
I've had a look before.
I've gone like, where is she? Where is she?
I almost got panicked. I said to my sister, maybe I'm just coming to Perth and talking in a studio and Mia's on a phone. can you look her up to see if she's actually in Perth? Like, and then we saw that you were actually here because I started panicking going, I've been excited, like counting down the sleeps like a little kid. And then, she's really here because I started getting disappointed.
I was wondering if you'd cancel actually.
No,
this
never.
morning.
You're the only person I've said yes to in how many years because I love and respect you so much. And people after 20 years don't want to know where is she now? And I know people can make things up. And I've been offered money to sell a story. But I just, to me, that doesn't pay me whatever they want to pay me to prove again what I'm doing or how successfully. And it doesn't make sense in my heart or my mind. And my mum and dad always said to me, like, success is how happy you live your life, not how long you last on TV. So to me, that bit was easy for me to come in and out. And when opportunity comes up, I say yes. Like today, 100% yes with all my heart. But I don't do things to be known or to be liked. And don't get me wrong, I do like Instagram and Facebook. Like, I'm not against them and I don't encourage people not to have them, each their own. I just personally such a dork. Like, I just learnt what a DM was. I didn't know that meant direct message.
Lucky I haven't been trying to DM you.
I know, no. But like little things like that, and people will go, what do you do? I said, I don't know, just other stuff. If something's really good, I'm sure one of my friends screenshot something and send me a text. Yeah, I don't know why.
When you were at the height of your fame, when you came out of the house, social media didn't exist. The internet didn't really exist.
I'm so grateful for
Not
all of
like
it.
it does now.
I know.
And the word influencer didn't exist. Because, of course, now, there's this factory that churns out these reality TV stars, the Daily Mail, and there's all that media that runs the stories around them, and then they're offered teeth whitening deals, and they go to nightclubs, and they get, Bumble will sign them to endorse various things, and they can make a lot of money, maybe not for a long period of time. There are some reality TV stars like Tali Smythe who has made that into some longevity in a career as an influencer. Most of them probably have 12 months to make money. Mm-hmm. Do you not like money?
Yeah, but that's not the only way to make money. And my thing is you've got to be happy as well. So, and good on those people that love computers and Instagram and things like that can do that. I'm not against it, but it's just not for me. Like, I couldn't think of anything worse than waking up going, oh, today I'm this.
Yeah, right.
Like, I just don't have it in me.
Here's my teeth whitening secret.
Like, I just don't, and I'm not saying I just know. Even if I got offered a television job, which, I haven't right now, but I'm saying an example, I couldn't say that I'd say yes to having an Instagram account. Like, I just don't see, and
when did you do Dancing with the Stars?
That wasn't even Instagram either.
Right.
I was so lucky.
How many years ago was it?
That was like a few years after. I did Celebrity Big Brother. I did Dancing with the Stars, and then I did some, some one-night TV show things. I don't know. There's so many little
I can't
things.
imagine those offers have stopped.
Well, some things that you get these days as well. I was talking to another friend that at the time she was in a different industry but was known. You got paid very well to be known when people knew who we were. And now a lot of people do things for nothing. So that's where the social media and things, like, you can just open up your Instagram account and put everything someone needs to know about you on there, or sell something. You can do it yourself, and there's no need to get paid a good amount of money to go in a magazine. But when we were known at the time, you did get paid well.
Because it can be a job. I mean, if you look at Angie Kent, she's
done
to about her
amazing.
5th or 6th reality TV show. So you
Good
can
for
do dance.
her.
Yeah, which good for her. Dancing with the Stars and Big Brother, not Big Brother. Not Survivor. What did she do?
Bachelorette. Yeah. Bachelorette. I watched that.
Oh, she did do Celebrity. I'm a Celebrity. Get me out of here. I imagine that those offers come to you all the time.
I used to say I would love to do I'm a Celebrity. Get me out. That's the only reason I would really love to do that show is because I love eating competitions.
Not eating spiders.
Yeah, like I like the challenge. That's the whole thing that I would love to do that. But then I'd miss my daughter too much, so I couldn't go away for that long. Yeah. So things like that, I would do things, see people do things for money. I say I'd do it because I like eating competitions and it'll be fun.
When you came out, the other thing is how it must have been that most people, when they become famous, they watch it happen. So even if it happens quite quickly, they're not like
removed from it and then just dropped into it. I mean,
Yeah.
do you remember what it was like walking back onto that stage and seeing all those girls dressed like you? Was
Yeah,
that daunting? Was it exciting? Was it just
I think
fucking weird?
that's the whole thing for me was just so overwhelming. Like I was trying to, and again, I was so young.
21.
Yeah, so everything was so overwhelming. So then I went from in a house for 3 months with people that you became friends with, and then on stage of being known and asked questions about who you are and how'd you do this and why do you love yourself, and then there's people copying you. It was a lot to take in, and I don't know how or why that I'm a strong person. I've always just been like that naturally to process everything, but I can understand for some people. And, you know, another thing I'm so blessed for, most of my reaction was positive.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm talking so happily to you right now. And I only missed out by the first week of leaving by 1%. So my life could be different right now. Yeah.
Because Tully came out and had the experience of being hated.
Yeah, and I would.
And that was
that's
really
very
upsetting
horrible
for her,
yeah,
yeah.
I mean, so I've experienced it where people. I don't care about calling me fat or whatnot, but when people say this is all she is, she's working in a retail, or this is all she is now, it's like, F you. What do you mean? I just helped some girls feel good about themselves, and now you're saying, what do you do for the rest of your day? You make people feel shit. Like, you know, go check yourself. But yeah, I feel for the people that do have a negative experience. At the same time, if you do go on a reality show and be a shithead, be prepared that there's no excuse of who you are.
Because it's your true colours. Or
Yeah.
part of them anyway.
Yeah, part. They do manipulate. I see these days
now
it's different.
Big
Yeah.
Brother felt it was a gentler time.
And
wasn't
I
it? More innocent
didn't
time.
feel manipulated or persuaded or anything by the producers. Everything was so fun. Like
It was very
always,
organic.
Yeah, it always felt fun. Like everything I really loved it. And that's why I could do it again in the way that I loved the way everyone interacts. But it would be so different now to do it. And how people see you and perceive you.
And even in the second season of Big Brother, you could just see you could never capture that first magic because straight away, because everyone had watched the first season and they knew what you know the level of fame you'd come out. Everyone was trying with their little shticks, and everyone was aware of where the camera was, and people were already gaming the system, which is totally fair enough. But it just made for a very different experience.
I think it is different. Like I just never understand how. I mean, when you're little, you wonder what it's like to be a singer or something, but to have that need to be known or want people to recognize you for what, like that's where I sometimes don't understand why people would put themselves in some situations to want to be known. And I'm only saying this because I was on the first one. Who knows where my life? You know, that's not me speaking for others. That's what I think. Like how it must be so hard to want to get somewhere in a career, and a reality show is the only way to go, or do people respect you to do Instagram? Like you're very judged now on how to make a career to be known. You really are.
Yeah, it's like there's a certain snobbiness about anyone that wants to be on a reality show.
Or someone that really wants to try to be in an industry.
An influencer,
or in any area, but she's just new, not many people know her, or people judge so much, I think, more now.
Amy Schumer has a joke in one of her stand-ups.
So
Isn't she great? And she talks about how she goes out in the street just in her regular life and she'll get papped by the paparazzi and then the photos will come out with captions like, Amy Schumer's so brave, you know, like, or she'll take a selfie and it'll be so brave. Yeah. And there's a real implicit condescension in that, isn't there?
It's just you.
It's just you.
Yeah.
And so then for you to come out and you were just being you in the house the way you always are, and then to have everyone go, you're so brave. You're such an inspiring role model. How did that feel?
I think that was confusing for me as well because as I said, being so young then, I was just finding myself and my confidence. And I did love fun and I do love people. So, and I didn't care most of the time what people thought, but I did. There was a time like when I lost weight after Big Brother, because I went through a stage of I ate more because people thought I was fat, so then I didn't care what I ate, because it wasn't a weight thing. I never remember weighing myself when I was younger or anything, so I never thought like that. Then I thought, stuff it or eat, and then when I started getting judged, I got offered to lose weight.
By Jenny Craig or Weight Watchers or something.
Name. Wasn't one of them,
Gloria,
but it was a name. I can't remember the name of it. And I'm 21. You're going to pay me a lot of money to lose weight. It wasn't about being a role model then. had a mind of a 21-year-old. I'm going, you're going to give me lots of money to lose weight. Okay, I'll lose weight. What do I have to do? Eat this? Okay, now give me my money. And then I went to do an audition, what do you call these things? A call thing for a travel show. And I said as a joke, I just lost the weight. Oh, if you've got a TV show that will give me some new boobs, I'll have them too. Or standing from the camera. And they go, actually, we do. And the crew come in from next door and said, we're doing this medical show. What do you want? And I said, oh, I'd love it. I've lost all this weight. My boobs are saggy. They're like, hanging tea bags. Oh, I'll just have implants and a lift. And they said, well, we can do that. So then I went and got the show gave me, and that wasn't about me not loving myself. That was me being 21 and getting shit for free and getting paid. Like, there's a difference. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It was just like, I said it I was actually lifting up my boobs as I was talking, going, oh, have you got that show that will give me some boobs? Like, wait, right there, we really do. And I got them. So then when I had to do the rounds of radio interviews, and this one lady was so disappointed in me. Like, how could you do this? You've lost all your weight and now you're getting boobs, like trying to make me become someone. And I just was laughing at her because how angry she was. I felt sorry for her because it's not what I wasn't trying to be. I was just doing what a young 21-year-old. I know not every young 21-year-old. I just asked and I got it. If that makes sense.
Of course. And also the pressure of having this role modelness thrust upon you. I mean, you just went on a reality show. You didn't go, I'm going to help women feel better about themselves.
Yeah, and my thing was I was confused. I was like for being me. So now I want to get boobs, so I can. I got paid to lose weight, so I can. It wasn't about me saying, oh, no, I can't because of her other people. I thought I was liked for being myself. But I did find throughout the times I started getting Botox because of makeup art. I don't have it now, but a makeup artist said, oh, you should get a bit of Botox here, like there. And I was like,
between your eyebrows.
Yeah. Like, so look at it now. I've got nothing.
Same.
Oh, jeez.
Same.
I love it now. But I did go through a stage of Botox, and I'm not against people that get Botox because I did really love it. But then I found myself looking in the mirror going, oh, there's a line. Oh, no. What's that word? Top up? I need a top up. And I found myself looking at what else can I straighten out. So then I stopped that. Yeah. And I'd, as much as I say I love it, I probably wouldn't do it again, but I still do love the idea of it. Like, it does make you look fresh, but I don't have it now. So there was little things where I started to change. And I remember I had to go to... I never went to those things, what they call the opening of an envelope, like all that stuff. I never was good at those, but I did have to go to something. And I seriously was just going to grab a dress. It was from some shop. I've never been into labels. And someone that I was with said, you can't wear that there. And I said, why not? And I felt really comfortable. I ended up spending $400 on a top. I had the money to buy it, to go somewhere to suit what I had to go to. And then I was told that don't wear that again to another event. And I couldn't.
Because you can't wear the same thing twice.
You can't wear the same, but you can. In reality, has anyone done a mum or dad drop off at school? You wear the same shit. You don't have to change your clothes. In reality, you don't change your clothes every week. You do. You wash them, but you're allowed to wear the same thing you wore last week.
Once,
that's okay. And most people do have to do that. So that was things that I had to learn about being in the industry. Is that although you liked for being you still have to comply to the way the industry handles things, if that makes sense.
100%.
Yeah.
It seems like there are two different ways of dealing with sudden fame. Like some people run towards it and go, okay, I really like this. I really like the attention. I like the money. I like being known. And they cultivate more of it. And then other people sort of run screaming from it and are like, I'm really damaged and it was really awful. You don't seem to fit either of those molds.
I'm not damaged. I'm forever grateful. Now I appreciate it because I'm a proud mum where it's a good thing to be a positive light for your nieces and nephews and daughter. Also, I haven't shut the doors. I'm not doing things just to be known. I've never done that. I've never, even when I remember they did Sale of the Century or the Big Brother, contestants did that, and I said, I'm not doing it. And they said, you should do it. I hate questions. I don't like quizzes. And I said, I'm not doing it. And I didn't do it. And everyone else did it. And then they said, well, will she do Who Am I, when the doors open? And I said, all right, I'll do that. I just have to walk out and wave. And I ended up getting paid more than they did. They had to stay there for the week. I'm not bragging, but it's funny because I was like, I'm not going to sit there and do the whole week of Sale of the Century and have to answer questions. And they said, will you do this then? And I said, oh, okay, I'll do that. And even when they all did, remember the show Weakest Link? They all did it. I didn't do it. and they all got paid well for it. I don't care. I just can't do quizzes. I just don't, not into them. Yeah.
What's the, I mean, it was a time before WhatsApp groups.
Yeah.
I was going to say, do you guys
I have a WhatsApp
group with all the Big Brother people?
No, I don't speak to any of them.
You don't,
no.
None of you stayed in contact?
I try and explain to people. It's like going on a holiday when you're young and you meet a whole
like
group
a
of people.
Kentucky tour.
Yeah, like I did as well. And then you meet great people, and then I think everyone was finding their own way. And I don't feel there was ever any animosity. But in that time, there was no WhatsApp. I don't think there was much Facebook. I think Facebook just started then maybe.
Yeah, it was years later.
I know we did a reunion thing with a couple of different Big Brother contestants over the years, and I did a couple of robe things over the years, and you meet people and you cross paths. But there was none where we've all kept in contact.
Are you curious, just like people are curious about whatever happened to Sara-Marie, are you curious about where they ended up?
No, I always remember the funny times in there, like just really, like I remember when I was so drunk, like eating fish fingers in bed, and Ben and Blair were just so angry at me. Just little stupid things that we would do that you can't ever get that back. How I just feel so blessed that I was on a reality show that was one of the first ones. Just so grateful. But at the same time, when I look back, it was so long ago, it overwhelms me of now I'm older, how did I handle things? What have I was young to be that known that quick. Like I had security guards wherever I went for like nearly a good week, coming home and everything. Like it was really different for me, and still staying that positive, happy person. Like as I said, I felt sometimes I became a character.
Yeah, like comedians sometimes say that when they meet people and people go, "Tell me a joke."
Yeah,
did you feel like do a bum dance
all the time? And you know what? Most of the times I would do it because in my head I'm like, don't be rude, because if it wasn't for them, you wouldn't be as loved. I mean, I don't need someone to love me, but because of most people, I had a really good reality experience, and I got given a chance to get to see it. And that's another thing. I was so annoying at the beginning, but once people got to know me, they saw that I was just being honest, like, you know what I mean, of myself. I don't know. Like,
did you notice that there was like a bell curve of you came out and you were like so famous, and then did it peter off over what period of time?
I think because I never went to a lot of things that I couldn't keep up with. Like I remember some of the Big Brother people invited me places. I just said, I just can't be bothered. I just don't. I had that much attention that I just I did go to some things, but nothing where they did go to a lot of things, and I just. That's the shy part of me, probably. I'm happy to be, if I'm happy, I'm happy. I don't need any more.
Because I imagine it would be pretty hard because you're introverted, really.
Yeah.
Like you're extroverted with people that you know and love.
Yeah.
But it's not like you walk into a room and just start bum dancing and...
Oh, yeah, and that's another thing I felt difficult for me is when I did go to somewhere or out, people assume that I'd be the life of the party. I'm an attention seeker, and I'm so opposite. Like oh God, I rarely have a drink now. Like when I was younger, I used to go out and drink, but now I just can't even be bothered. But yeah, people used to think that I'd be like, oh, look at me, I'm from Big Brother. But I was the opposite. I was like, no, I'll wait in the back of the line. You don't have to. Oh, no, I will. That's embarrassing. Walking to the front saying this is me.
Don't you know who I am?
Yeah, people do that, but no, that's shame. No way.
And I imagine also particularly, I know when I met you for the first time, at the Cosmo shoot, or maybe it was, I
swear I still got those bathers still somewhere.
Do you?
Yes, the blue with the stars. Yeah. I've got them. I'm sure I have. They're all packed away.
And I thought, I wonder if she'll be the same as she kind of is, as I think she's going to be. And you were just so delightful that day. And I've been on a lot of shoots, but I've never seen a model eat lunch and then put on a pair of bathers.
I really was going to do it. I'll do it for you another day.
And you were so gorgeous with my son as well. He was so starstruck. And you were so gracious with it all, because I imagine it would have been very strange to have people think they knew you really well.
Yeah.
But you don't know them.
No, well, that was...
It's a weird kind of intimacy.
Yeah, it is, because even when I did work on radio and interviewed people on the carpet and stuff, I had to have someone stand behind me and tell me who everyone is, because I'm really bad with celebrities. And when I did things, people would come and talk to me, and someone would say, do you know who was just talking to you? Like, they knew of me, but say they were really famous, and I had no idea. And I just talked to them as weird. Like, people to me are people. And I was really naive to that type of stuff as well. I didn't know who anyone was. So that was good in a way for me because I didn't, it's hard to explain because it was like I went to the Logies and, it was really overwhelming to think of how much I did do in being known for such a short amount of time.
How long did that period last, do you think, the aftermath and that weird fame?
Well, I don't know. It was over years because over the years I did different shows and things like that. And I have still have opportunities arise, but it's all by choice now. And I think I have always done things by choice because as long as I feel happy to do it, like as I said for you, I'm just over every year have to do a...
Where are they now?
Yeah, it's almost... And I don't feel like I'm not being rude to the people that read it, but I don't need to prove myself. Like I don't have to say, well, this is what I am because I was on TV because there's so many amazing people that aren't known that do amazing things.
What did you do for money? Like how long did the money last for?
Oh, mine was good. Yeah, it was good. So it all worked out. So I lived when I first come to Sydney, I didn't have any money. Well, not a lot to live in Sydney. So Harry actually gave me like money first and then paid for my accommodation and that, and then work came from there. So that was good.
So he invested in you?
Yeah, he knew, but I didn't realise how well known I didn't have a clue how.
Yeah, because he's was the most famous agent in Australia.
And I didn't know that either.
Lindy Chamberlain and everything.
Yeah, so I didn't understand all of that either. So that was funny to meet him, and I was blessed to have met him and now worked obviously with his daughter Lauren. And yeah, so I'm still lucky. That's what I said to them. A girl that works for Lauren. I said, how come you keep getting me things and I don't make you money anymore? Like there's, you know what I mean? How lovely is that after all these years that I'm not making lots of money like I used to, yet they still, will.
But you could tomorrow.
Well, maybe you'll set me up an Instagram account, Mia. We'll see. I can do my cheap beauty products that I use.
What work have you done for the last however many years?
Well, I've been a mum for 5 years, and now I'm at the moment studying my teacher's aid, which I think for Cert 4, which is for teacher's aid and special needs. So I'm working, for me that's important to, on the school holidays I can have time off and still, time off for my daughter. So that's my main thing I'm doing at the moment. Yeah.
What was dating like after you came out of the house?
I didn't really. I was just... Yeah, it was funny because you did get a lot more attention. So I did meet people, but then you think, why did they like you? Just things like that.
Did you feel like you had to live up to
Yeah, and then I get pissed off if they think they're trying to act normal, and then they'd say, so do you still keep in contact? Or they'll bring it all up, and then I go, damn it, which is natural as well. But I was just so busy and just did so much.
What's your reading of reality TV now? You said you're
I love
a big
it.
fan.
Yeah, I love it.
What
I
do you
love
watch?
Love
What do you
Island.
love?
I loved that. And I'm watching at the moment Married at First Sight. That's just like a train wreck. That's just terrible, isn't it?
How do you see it differently to how maybe I would be watching those shows?
It's so everyone's not for each other. I find now that everyone's against each other. Like there's plots and it's not uplifting.
It's all about conflict.
It's conflict rather than encouraging, and betrayal, and how dare you not tell me something when they don't really have to tell you because you don't really know each other. You've known it. Does that make sense? Like no one owes anyone anything, and they are allowed to be in it for themselves, and they don't have to have a dinner party and tell everyone their shit. They don't have to. Like I find it more of intriguing, like how I lived for 3 months in there, and I honestly didn't cry. I think I cried when Christina Ballerina left. I didn't cry the whole time, so I don't understand how they cry so easily. And you do have a psychologist, or we did. You do have help, and I could imagine that everyone does have help now.
Was that helpful, having the
I
psychologist?
made stories up because I got so bored of talking to them. I'd go and ring up and ask for Carmel and go, hi, Carmel, I think I'm going to quit smoking when I get out the house. And I haven't had a cigarette for 3 months. And when I met her, I had a laugh. I said, I just make up so much to you, because I was just thought, oh, we can talk to a psychologist. I'm just going to talk to someone new, because we would know. We had a set thing of magazines in the house, and Ben would say, what's on page 28, and we had read all those magazines so much that we could read tell you word for word what was on every page.
So I was just
bored. Yeah, but I don't think I've been a person that's been can say I enjoy my own company, but I found things to do to make it more enjoyable. And I remember laying in the herb garden. that was my sanctuary where if I laid down, I remember I couldn't, I could smell the chooks, I could smell the herbs. And I used to tell myself when someone would really piss me off, where you could feel you choking up, I was like, this is not forever. These people, you don't know them. This is not the rest of your life. This is a 3-month holiday. Like, you know what I mean? That's what I'd start telling myself, and then they wouldn't bother me, if that made sense. So that's why I don't understand how on these shows people take it so to heart of what someone else has said on the show when you're not all going to be friends at the end of it. Like, you don't have to be.
Do you think, though, that's because everyone knows that you get more screen time, the more conflict you're involved in, and the more famous you are, the more screen time you get, the more famous you are, and the more famous you are, the more money you can make when it's over?
That's a very exhausting way to make money, though, isn't it? Like, you got to still love your heart, like feed your soul some good positive stuff as well. Like, you can't always be out to attack to outdo someone else. But that's the way sometimes the social media ways go sometimes, isn't it?
Did dyeing your hair, was that an attempt to get some anonymity back?
No, this is my colour. I haven't coloured my hair in 2 years. This is me. This is my natural colour. I've got a few greys.
Beautiful hair. I remember
I did get it washed and blow dried yesterday.
Good.
Just because it's such a fizzy mane. But rarely, just like
I would be very jealous if you just woke up like that.
No. I did try for you a little bit. Yeah, that's the only thing I did for you. Other than that, I've got my...
Did you get recognised less when you went back to your normal colour and you weren't blonde anymore?
No, I think I did Dancing with the Stars with dark hair. No, people will say, like, if I say my full name, it feels like I'm showing off. So then I'll say Sarah, and then someone will say, like, when I've been on holidays with my daughter or something, they go, are you? And then I'll say, I don't like saying yes I am in case they're not meaning that. But people do, I think, more in their 40s and 50s, they still will, if they hear me laugh or speak, or they go, I just know you from somewhere. Like, I just know you, and I can never say it because then I think, oh my God, you've seen me naked, or you know what I mean? Like, it's like...
I was going to ask if you get recognised still a lot.
Not all the time, but it's just when I don't expect it.
And women in their 40s and 50s like me, yeah.
Yeah. So it's, and you know, as I said, I get overwhelmed that people still know me, but it's okay because it's positive, most of it.
It's not just that they know you. I do a lot of public speaking, and part of my show that I'm doing at the moment and speeches that I give, and I talk about my time at Cosmo and body positivity, and I show the cover of Cosmo that you were on, and
that was
the
such a
shoot
big
that
deal
we did.
then.
I nearly lost my job over that.
I know, I'm so sorry.
No, I was so proud. I was so proud.
But look at that moment now for what you have.
I would have walked out to keep you on the cover.
That gives me goosebumps.
But when that image goes up, there's this noise that comes from the audience every single time, and it's like, oh.
Well, one day, next time you're in Perth, I'll seriously just come and do a wave for you.
I'd love it, because I don't know if you
I'll probably cry on stage. I don't. I'm really dopey like that.
How women feel about you. Like, you are so loved in a way that I haven't seen any people. Like, I could put a photo of Oprah up there and everyone would be like, yeah, cool, Oprah, or whatever. But when people see you, there is such an outpouring of affection and love for you that I don't know if you
I don't know that
can
bit.
feel.
No, that's the bit that I don't understand. Like, I just don't. I don't know if it's because I'm me. Like, people say, oh, I love me. I like how, and you're you. Like, you go home, you do your home things like me. Like, you don't understand it. How someone can...
No, but there's a lot of people that hate me, but everyone
and
loves
there's me
you.
too.
No, I've never met anyone that...
there's people...
that doesn't feel such affection is the only word I can think of that describes it. Like, warmth and affection for you.
That's so kind, but I don't have I don't know, but I will one day next time you're in Perth, or if I'm ever in Sydney, I'll come and do a... It's because of you though as well. You're putting it all on me for how women feel, but that's why I got all emotional when I saw you, is because of you, people feel comfortable to have done different things in their jobs to make women feel proud and speak out and do all these amazing things. Although I don't have Instagram, I still know how amazing you are.
But you were a pioneer. You were a pioneer. Like, being in the house, there are so many Instagram influencers and people, and Dove got on the bandwagon and did all the things with body positivity. But you were like patient zero for the body positivity movement. Yeah. And I don't know if you understand that.
I don't get it. Yeah, I just don't. Yeah, I really don't. I really don't. I was going to, that's what I said to my sister. We were talking. So I'll just stand in here today and just be all comfortable. And they went, oh, would that be okay? I thought you'd think it's okay just to take the piss out, not take the piss out of myself, but how we began.
Who you are.
Like how we began.
Yeah.
Like this whole thing of like body. And now I've got extra scars and stuff, you know.
Don't we all?
Yeah. And, you know, everyone's different. Like, my body's has a lot of cellulite, and then I have a friend that has a lot of stretch marks, but I don't have any stretch marks, hardly any, and my body fluctuates. So that's why it's amazing that everyone's body is different. It's not like plus sizes. Hey, it's different sizes rather than, and I don't have my boobs in anymore.
Oh, did you get them out?
Yeah, they were annoying me, so I went and got
Why did you? Because they look so big now.
Yeah,
they get bigger as you get older, though, don't they? No one tells you that.
They got one of these bras on.
How old are you now?
42 this year. So they started annoying me, and I never really liked them.
What do you mean annoying?
I don't know. I just did it as I said because they were free.
Because they were free.
Yes. I would never spend 20 grand on boobs. Like, just no. But that's the personality I was. They were free. And as I got older, they were annoying me. So the one was actually leaking, had a little crack in it. So I got them taken out. So that was good. But
what was that like?
What?
Getting them taken out.
Oh, hooray. Get the out. Yeah.
And
done.
then were your boobs
they're terrible now. I could like hang down and rub my knees with them. I can pour a drink under them again. I can pour you a drink. Remember I did that? I can pour you another drink.
Pour a drink with your boobs.
Under your boobs. Yeah.
I know that. Remember that ridiculous thing about the pencil test?
Yeah.
And you're meant to be able to put a pencil under.
Yeah, mine was a drink bottle in Big Brother house, and like we actually seen that. Me and my sisters are like, oh my god, I was so brave, because people now just wouldn't do stuff like that. But that wasn't me showing off. It was me having fun. I feel like I have a fun personality, like not being mean to myself, but just taking the piss, like just having a bit of fun, not caring, you know. I think we're so into quick judging and not letting people, like, what's that saying, tall poppy? Just be happy for people. Just be happy that they're trying. If you want to be known to make money, then let someone have that freedom without trying to shoot them down before they get somewhere, because some people give up very easily, like after being on television. And that's even people that have not just been on reality. Like, I do have friends that I've got to speak to over the years that have been known, and it is hard for some people and people that aren't known as well. So you got to make people feel comfortable that they can talk and it's okay.
I remember after that thing came out of you in Sports Girl, you lost your job there, didn't you? Or you quit because there was so much attention.
Yeah, I couldn't be bothered. Yeah, I couldn't be bothered. Yeah. It was almost disappointing, because I was like, shouldn't you be proud of me that I'm not like going, oh, look at me, I'm too good for you, I'm not going to talk to you and you. I was like, I'm embracing everyone that loved me before, the person I was before, and still get to do TV at the same time, because I'm still me. And that was hard to balance. But that's life, isn't it, really? That's what can you do? You can't change that bit. It's all done now.
What surprised you about becoming a mum?
Oh, my God, that I know that some people have different ways of dealing with being a mum, but for me it just feels so natural. It feels so easy.
Did you always know you wanted to have kids?
Yeah, always knew. But I actually had to have hysterectomy 2 years ago. So
I'm sorry, why?
Because I always had my whole life I always had my period all the time. And that was, when I went into Big Brother, when they rang me, this is a true story, I've never said, when they rang me to say that I got into Big Brother, they said, do you have any questions? And my only question I had to them was, there a tampon box? Out of it, you've just been selected for this television show, you're going to be on TV, do you have any questions for me? And I went, yeah, is there a tampon box? Because I always have my period. That's true.
Did they put one in?
No, it was a bin. I think it was a bin. But I remember rolling them up. Yeah, that's MLS talk like that. Yeah, so I always made sure, I said, you have to make sure there was plenty of tampons and pads, because that was the worst bit on Big Brother, was having your period. That was terrible. So I always had my period and always had spotting. And then even when I was pregnant, I had like bright blood the whole time.
That must have been so scary.
Yeah, but because I was so used to it.
Yeah.
I was so used to it, and I never had morning sickness or anything. I was so blessed like that. So,
were you deliberately trying to get pregnant, or it was a happy accident?
Nah, yeah, it's just meant to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so then, why did you have to have the hysterectomy?
So then I went to the doctors and explained that, was it 2 year, just turned 40. Yeah, how I've always, and I had really, really bad pains, and they suggested for me. And I knew at that time I wasn't going to have, because it's me and my daughter at the moment. So I knew at the time that I wasn't having any more children. I was so content with having a healthy beautiful child as now. So I said, okay, I had to think about it and I'll have it. But then it went terribly wrong.
But hang on, I'm going to diagnose endometriosis. Is that what you had?
Yeah, I had so many things my whole life, little bits like cysts and endometriosis.
Right.
And I always had, those little operations through your belly when I was younger.
Laparoscopies.
Yeah, I had all that. So it was always, and I never really talked about it because I just dealt with my pain and stuff as I went. So it wasn't something that I ever discussed. So then I did have the hysterectomy, but it went terribly wrong. And they accidentally cut through my bladder so badly that I was in a surgery for 6 hours having bladder surgery after my hysterectomy. So
that's not fair.
No, it was very bad. So then I was in surgery for 6 hours on top of my all in that same space of a day. And then I was in hospital for a week with a catheter. And then I was at home for a week with a bag, praying for my life that this is the only 2 weeks I have to have one. So I appreciated myself even much more after my body healed. So
grateful to be able to do a wee.
Yes. I still dribble in my undies every now and then. Everyone does.
Well, that's just our age, really, isn't it?
But not many people talk about that because I said it as a joke one day to someone, one of them, a mum, my friends, and she's, oh, I'm so glad you said that because sometimes I do, and I haven't even had hysterectomy. And I said, oh yeah, that's why. Some people don't,
bladder leakage, LBL.
Yeah, but people just don't really.
Right.
Sometimes they don't feel like they can talk about it. But if you make it into it's normal.
So normal.
But women try and sometimes don't want to admit that they do that happens, but it does. Who cares?
So you've recovered from that surgery?
Oh yeah,
now?
I'm very good at positive, being grateful that. It was very a shock at the beginning, but now I'm blessed that I'm back to.
Did that put you into sudden onset menopause?
No,
or
I still have my
left
ovaries.
Your ovaries.
Yeah, I still have my ovaries, but everything else is gone. Yeah. And I got a good scar now, not from a cesarean, from a bladder surgery.
How was birth for you?
I had an emergency cesarean. Ooh. So I never went to any classes, nothing. I always felt what will be, will be. So I didn't want to train myself into something that was... You know what I mean?
The baby's got to come out.
Either way. So I wasn't being superwoman. So if I was doing natural, I'm doing natural. If I had to do, and I ended up having to do emergency cesarean. Either way, you're amazing making a baby, or however people get babies. You're all amazing, whatever parent you are. That's how I see it. And but I just remember saying to Mum, how do people have time for music and candles? I just don't see how you have time to prepare for that stuff. But some people do, really.
Most birth plans go to
Yeah. So other than that, it's just like every other birth. That's, you're so happy when it happens. And yeah, it's amazing. So that's where I focus now on everything that I've done. I now look at that I'm so proud to show my daughter or my nieces or nephews, in a more, I'm really proud of it now. To then being more stoked when I was young. Oh yeah, I'm famous. I'm actually really hold my chest out high now going, oh my God, I feel like I'm not more worthy. That's not the word. Just so proud that what I did when I was younger, and I don't know how I did it, and I don't know how I was taught it. Because there was times I did get hurt, and there's times I was disappointed. But I don't think...
What hurt you and disappointed you?
Just the constant, you have the people that do, that's what I'm saying. I'm not a hero in the way of always being positive, but I just somehow managed my way to talk myself out of not going into a dark space of someone that I don't know to hurt my feelings. And that's how I talk myself in, you don't know them. It's just words.
You were so lucky to have come out at that time before social media.
I'm so lucky.
Because... now it's obviously so easy for people to be horrible to anyone who's in the public eye. But how did they get to you? How did you know that there were people that were saying horrible things?
It was more in those days was that gossip column and the newspapers, and they always had, I don't still remember all the gossip columns that, and people would
so when people were nasty in gossip columns, and media
screenshot,
reports.
Stuff like that. I almost was disappointed because that's me doing good or not doing good because I didn't realize I was doing good, but and then you still find some thing about someone. I think I know that's their job, and if you want to go to uni for your whole life to dog someone, then I feel sorry for you. I'm really.
I wonder if that's where, because you don't have social media, you don't realize how much people love you now.
No, I don't. Can you believe? I just don't.
And it's so interesting to me that you don't have any need to know that. I think as women, we all sort of want I mean, everyone wants to feel loved.
Yeah.
And it's like there's this amazing tap of just love that you're just like, I know who I am. I don't need to turn that tap on.
Yeah, but at the same time, I'd happily one day come and stand on a stage and say hi for you. But it's not because I need to prove myself, because I love what you do and I love the story that you've just told. And you're doing something that inspires others. But I don't need to do it to say, look at me, give me appearance fee, see you later.
Yeah, you know who you are.
Yeah, I you know what? Saying that, even for yourself, who you were 5 years ago, 10 years ago is not who we are now. Like, we all learn and grow. So I can't say I'm the exact person. Like, sometimes I've found myself saying, oh, I miss her. I miss Sara-Marie from Big Brother. I miss that emotional freedom. I miss that just not really giving a Like, if you go back and look at what we were wearing and what we did, we really didn't care.
It was a more innocent time.
Yeah, and so I think no one's the same, whoever you are, and the people you meet change you and influence you. So like when people even in the media like will say, oh, this person said that 10 years ago, so they're really bad to do that position now. It's like, that was 10 years ago. If it's not something very bad, like, you know what I mean, like having a comment or something, like that's not who the person is now, like in explaining something.
I think you are still the same person.
Well, we are.
In
like,
so many ways.
So many ways.
In all the good ways.
Growing up, like
you're a grown-up version.
A grown-up version, yeah. But we learn and you grow and you deal with things differently. I don't think I could be as disappointed as easily now as what sometimes I felt. And don't get me wrong, there was times I was very alone when I did do appearances and stuff. Like, I'd say, I was going around Australia, and I was like, how do all these people love me? Yeah, I'm sitting in this hotel room by myself. Like, I'm so alone. Like, I felt really, really alone. But yet, hang on a minute, you just done that whole appearance thing. Then you go, I'm eating dinner by myself.
Again.
Yeah, again. So it was a weird feeling. And then you just couldn't go and hang out with someone, because then it's like, are you drawing attention to yourself, or you question yourself? I found myself getting tired of explaining myself.
You strike me as having a really tight circle around you.
Yeah, I've got four.
Just finally,
four
who are your people?
Well, I still have my friends that I had before Big Brother, and then my sisters, and I do have not a huge group of friends, but people that you can just know, that you just trust. And that's not saying I don't like meeting people. I love meeting people. I love people. Like, I love interacting, but I'm just not when people assume that I'm an attention seeker when I go out, like, oh, I was doing that in a house, like,
oh my God, you're 42, you don't want to do the bum dance anymore.
But
people
I still appreciate that, what came of that, and like wearing the
Do you
bunnies.
just say no now when people say, can you do the dumb dance?
No, sometimes I give a quick wobble. It's very fucking harmless to do.
So you don't mind?
I don't mind. No, I'm not hating on it, but I'm just saying, like, back then there was a stage where I felt like that's all I was. Like, but yeah.
Feel so much more. I love you.
I love you. Can you believe I'm here after all this time?
I don't end all my interviews like that, but I really do love you.
I really love you. I'm sure that we'll cross paths again.